Well, Anna, thank you for having me. As I said before, currently there is a lot of mixed information coming in. I would say that we'll have to wait for the next couple of hours just to clear up and to know more accurately what is going on.
But what do you make of this? It sounds like a surprise offensive by Hamas. What do you make of what you're hearing of the scale of it?
Well, I would like to share a couple of notes in that regard. First, definitely, it was a totally surprise, and obviously there are many questions that has to be asked from the Israeli side. I would like to put this whole attack, this whole war in a wider context in a couple of perspectives. One, the big question is, are we witnessing an opening phase in a multi-phase or a multi-front war that is supposed to be waged on Israel? And in that context, obviously, the eyes should be turned also on Lebanon and to watch Hezbollah. Obviously, this is a military move that was planned and orchestrated for a long period of time. It didn't happen overnight. So we have to look closely at that aspect. The other issue, which I think is very significant, is to look at the story of this war in the context of the region and the context of the inner Palestinian power struggle. The Palestinians are split. Hamas is fighting the Fatah over seniority of the Palestinian people. In the last couple of weeks, we heard more and more frequently about a possible Israeli-Saudi peace agreement or normalization. From a Palestinian side, and I'm reflecting now what the Palestinians are saying, that seems like a case where the Palestinian case is totally thrown under the bus by the Arab world. It seems as if Hamas made a strategic decision in the context of its inner power struggle with the Fatah to launch that war in order to send the message to the Palestinians and to the region that Hamas is not willing to take any kind of like an external circumstances that will impose the trajectory of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And therefore, Hamas is insisting to be the one that is basically dictating that trajectory. In that sense, you can say that to a larger extent, Hamas basically was able to do that as of now, because that brings me to the third element that we have to obviously explore very closely. And that is the question, what is going to be Israel's response? Are we going to witness an Israeli massive move that will topple down Hamas rule in Gaza Strip? Or are we going to see some other measurements? And one last thing in that context, in the regional perspective. By this war, waging this war on Israel, Hamas actually formally positioned itself within the Iranian camp together with the Hezbollah. I'm saying that because there have been an inner discussion and debates within Hamas regarding their trajectory. There has been camp that basically said that Hamas should not continue and cling to the military option as it always used to be. There was the other camp that was more military and much more tuned to the Iranian message. The answer for this inner Hamas power struggle was given this morning. Hamas positioned itself clearly on the Iranian camp. And that will be another interesting phenomenon or development to follow, because we have to remember that the Iranian regime, as part of its hegemonic perspective and plan, is basically envisioning a creation of what we call the ring of fire, surrounding Israel's neck from three major arenas: Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza Strip. This morning, one of the three arenas was activated. The question is, are we going to witness the activating of the two other arenas in the region? This is for now an open question. We have to follow that very closely and to see what will be the developments. This is a pivotal moment.